move into the news here. We uh, we've been telling you guys what a piece of shit RFK Jr. is for a while. Mainly because I've known a couple people and we've heard this stuff, but everybody thinks because he's a Kennedy, he must be a good person. But in fact, most of the Kennedys weren't exactly good people. So, even JFK, everybody loved, cheated on his wife a ton, had all kinds of issues, right? But RFK Jr. was running for president. I want to go through just a quick thing. When he ran, his family, that his mother, his brothers, and his sisters, issued a press statement saying, "We do not endorse him for president. We don't support him. He doesn't represent the family. We think he'd be terrible and dangerous for the country, and he shouldn't be anywhere near office." Think of how much of a scumbag you have to be. Who you're like, "Oh, I'm going to run for president." Your entire family goes, "Oh, shit, we got to put out a press release because we can't be attached to this guy."
I cannot imagine my family putting out a press release to distance themselves from me if I were to try to pursue something large in public. That's not a good sign.
No. If look, even if your family didn't like you or they disagreed, most of the time they just go, "All right, fine, whatever. We just won't vote
And
for
it
him."
kind of, ignore it a little.
Yeah,
Or
we're not going to comment. We're not going to say anything.
or maybe if like sort of asked directly, they might try to sort of skirt around it a little,
Right. Right. Exactly. But for you have to be a real piece of shit for their first reaction to go, "Oh shit, we got to put out a press release because this is going to look bad." so
Yeah.
so this guy, he's a scumbag. He has no principles. He wasn't running on anything. All these independents that thought he was running to start a new party or do something really important, he's not. It's all about money and power for him. He doesn't care. And what ended up happening was, he got up for a while, and then when Biden dropped out, and he was really running to get Trump elected the whole time. And that's not just me saying that. That's his own staff saying that. His own staff leaked out their plan to try and get Trump elected. That's why he was only on the ballot in a few states. He wasn't even trying to actually succeed here. I mean, I don't know who the Libertarian candidate is, but they're going to be on the ballot in most of the states.
Also, you didn't see him trying really hard to get them to let him into a debate or whatever. You know what I mean?
No,
Like
he just whined that they didn't get in. So
if somebody's trying to jump in as like an independent or a third party, they're actually trying to get elected, they're working overtime to try to get recognized on these like public forums or whatever. And that's like he didn't even do a good job of pretending.
right, and he raised a ton of money and everything from these anti-vax, anti-abortion scumbags. His VP pick, I forget her name, but she gave him a ton of money. I think we'll look at her in a second. That's why he picked her, because she's worth hundreds of millions of dollars, and she gave him millions and millions of dollars. So part of the problem is this: it's after Citizens United. For those of you who don't know, there was a big case called Citizens United in the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court basically said money is voting rights. Essentially, is what that boiled down to. So you can put as much money into a campaign as I want to donate, which allowed billionaires to be able to put in hundreds of millions of dollars to pick the officials they want to pick that are going to do the things they want to do. Right? And you might sit there and think, well, that's not so bad because there's always the other party. Well, no, it is bad because if I'm the rich billionaire and I'm like an oil magnate, I'm going to donate to the person in both parties that has my interest in line. I don't care if you guys get abortion rights or public schools. Either person you elect is already going to do what I want. You guys are picking from a list that I give you. Is essentially the power. This is why the Kochs became. This is why this caused a lot of problems with our politics. And it's really exacerbated because when Trump ran, he wasn't trying to win. And we know that Michael Cohen stated this, most of his staff stated this. Trump's whole thing was he was doing it as an infomercial. He was doing it to raise money and make money and get more fame and notoriety, which is exactly what RFK is doing. Because now just running, the act of running for president is enough to make you famous and wealthy if you get far enough. Because there's no cap on the amount of money you can be given through dark money and all other, super PACs and all that shit. So now, basically, just running for president has become, or running for most office has become a reality show. And that's how we end up with Lauren Boebert, Marjorie Taylor Greene, and Nancy Mace, and all these losers in Congress. They're just there for the money and the fame. And this is an easy way for them to do it. So, RFK Jr., same thing. And if you're like, well, no, he really stands by and he has some beliefs. Yeah, he has some beliefs. Most of them are crazy. But I'll tell you how I know. He started out, and after the Trump got shot at, or got shot in the ear, or whatever it was, Trump called him, and Trump was trying to get him to drop out and endorse him. And RFK Jr. said, okay, I'll do that if you promise me a huge job in your cabinet, which will set me up for the rest of my life. And Trump said, well, no, that looks too bad. It looks like pay for play. It's too obvious, right? So they said, no, we're not going to do that because it looks too corrupt, right? This is what he did next. Here's CNN. RFK Jr. reached out to the Harris campaign about an administration role in exchange for an endorsement. So now he's trying to sell his endorsement to either candidate for a job. And at this point, he did. After going to Trump, and Trump said no, he went to Harris's campaign, asked them, right? So Kennedy's staff also attempted to reach out to intermediaries for Ron Klain, former White House chief of staff for President Joe Biden, but those efforts were fruitless, the Kennedy campaign officials said. So this is even from his own campaign admitting this, that they did this. So after he tries to go to Trump, Trump says no. Tries to go to Harris, they don't even talk to him. They don't want his stink anywhere near them. Right? Now Harris is way up in the polls. Trump is desperate, he needs a bump. So Trump goes back to him, and sure enough, RFK endorses Trump, and here it is. For a job. Trump offered him a cushy job, and this is what he did. He bent down and kissed the ring.
F. Kennedy.
The independent presidential candidate and possible election spoiler, now a supporter of former President Donald Trump. Both men together on stage for the first time.
Don't you want a president who's going to get us out of the wars and who's going to rebuild the middle class in this country?
The two bonding over shared assassination events. In July, Trump injured in an attempted assassination. RFK Jr.'s uncle, Democratic President John F. Kennedy, and his father, Attorney General Robert F. Kennedy, both assassinated. On Friday, Trump making a promise.
Upon my election, I will establish a new independent presidential commission on assassination attempts.
This is all bullshit. This wasn't about a mutual bonding. This was about, he offered me a cushy-ass job. And I'm not going to win, and I've got nothing left, and I've run out of money. So I need to secure my cushy-ass job, and I'm going to bail on all my voters to do it. That's what this was. This is the losers uniting. Because they're both getting their asses whooped by Kamala Harris right now.
This is a whole pile of stupid is what this is.
Oh, yeah. It's
oh,
so
man.
stupid. A presidential committee on assassination attempts. What? You mean the FBI? The CIA? Like we don't have these... They're so stupid, dude.